What's going on, everybody? B. Scott, I'm here with
Godzilla.
and
Third way.
and on today's show, we got a mock draft battle. 3 of us battling out in a 10-team mock draft. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first 4 downs.
You already know, it's the plug. Third wheel.
What up?
Drop the logo.
What's going on, everybody? B. Scott, I'm here with
G.O.D.
and the third wheel. We're just starting the mock draft. Just getting it going. 4 seconds till it starts. I got the number 1 pick. Well, obviously, I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, number 1 overall. Safest place to take him. Dalvin Cook, number 2. They got Zeke slotted ahead of Derrick Henry. Yahoo does anyway. Derrick Henry with 3. Kamara with 4.
Let Chubb slip.
Yeah, it's crazy looking at all this right now. Ezekiel Elliott up next. It's crazy how much he's climbed in the ADP, right? You know what I mean? At first, he was barely getting taken in the first round. Now he's all the way up in the top 5, which is like crucial to me. I think that he's going to have a bounce back year. We've been talking about this a lot. Looking at him, I don't know how shredded he is. One thing that you got to consider, you know, if you look at all the college takes, the college carries that he's had in, you know what I'm saying, the NFL combined, he's almost at like 2,400. So we got to be looking at the last of Ezekiel Elliott here pretty soon. But I think this season is a good pick for him.
Yeah.
I'm here at the 10 spot. Aaron Jones just went off the board. I'm not sure what I really want to do right now. Saquon Barkley, that's a guy that I really would have liked to do. But I just got to do this back-to-back thing. I really feel like that. Jonathan Taylor's there. I'm not really high on Jonathan Taylor this season. Eckler, all these guys. I'm going to go Tyreek Hill, number 1. And then I'm still going to take Calvin Ridley, number 2.
No Devontae Adams there.
No, you know what? Randall Cobb, all these guys there. No, I'm not worried about that. You know what I mean? I just really feel like being the number 1 target on your team, nobody else is really viable as a threat over there in Atlanta. So I think Calvin really gonna have a lot to eat, and he really looks healthy and breaking away and getting a lot of separation at this point in camp. You know what I mean? It's gonna bode well for him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's also hard for a wide receiver to finish back-to-back seasons as the number 1 overall player. I love Devontae Adams, and obviously 15 touchdowns or more is in his wheelhouse every single season. It is, but only two seasons with over 1,000 yards here. Last year was an incredible year for a 14-game stretch. So, not to say Devontae Adams, I mean, obviously in my rankings, the number 1 wide receiver too, but I could see a spot absolutely where there's some more wide receivers that finish ahead of him.
Yeah, especially Stephon Diggs. I mean, he just got taken off the board.
He just needs touchdowns.
Yeah, you know, I just want to see this happen one more time. You know what I
You
mean?
get touchdowns? Devontae Adams.
Yeah, he does.
Just saying.
That's a fact.
How was he there at the 12?
Well, Calvin really does too.
Mixing it up tonight. Let's see, Christian McCaffrey, let's see. To be honest, running backs here, Najee Harris, no thank you. There's 2 picks before I pick. I would have loved DK Metcalf, so that stinks. Antonio Gibson, you know what? I will take Antonio Gibson here.
Najee Harris, that's a joke.
I mean, back-to-back, you know what? Man, I'm torn. I like Antonio Gibson here. I really do. But I think since I have Christian McCaffrey, I'm just going to anchor my team with 1 running back and hope to get a solid RB2. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown back-to-back here.
Ooh.
And I honestly like Darren. I like Darren Waller here too, but it's a little high for me. And if I can sew up my wide receiver 1-2 spots, I mean, it totally makes sense. I got 2 top 10 receivers with a top 5 back, you know, barring injury to any of these players.
That's definitely a devastating move right there. I mean, if you could fill it out in the next couple rounds, a lot of teams would be looking to
it's gonna
hope to catch you in week-to-week play. Darren Waller goes off really early, 3rd round.
Before Kittle too. Kittle. He's been going off the board before Kittle over and over
Patrick
again.
Mahomes. It's crazy to me. I don't know.
Hey, Antonio Gibson in the middle of the 3rd round. That's pretty good value. Let's see what third wheel's going to do here.
I hate chasing tight ends. So.
Okay.
Everybody hates chasing tight ends.
I'm telling you. Even defenders. Kittle is a fair pick here in the 3rd round. Absolute stud, period.
Well, I'm coming up here, and you know what? I'm going to just do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take my running back right now. J.K. Dobbins. I'm really high on this guy. And I'm going to take the number one quarterback off the board in Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, makes sense. Top stack. You got Tyreek Hill, so that's some unreal heat, to be honest.
Yeah.
I like J.K. Dobbins. I do. I would have never planned to get him on the back end of the 4th round anyway. So I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm gonna do with my RB2 because I don't like Miles Sanders. I don't like DeAndre Swift. I would take Chris Carson, but he ain't gonna make it to me. Arguably, I will take Darrell Henderson if he falls that late.
It's funny in this round, this 4th round, we got Darrell Henderson, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, all with really decent strength of schedules, who can really just fill in that void for you this season. You know what I mean? All going respectively in the same round. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, 4th to 5th round value. I think all these guys could finish in the top 12 players.
Yeah.
Either one, any of these guys could. So, lots of upside here. Okay, Darrell Henderson coming off the board here.
I wanted Carson, but
He went 1 pick ahead of you.
yep.
That's all right though. So you round out with Darrell Henderson and running back Nick Chubb, right?
Yep.
Then you got Kittle.
Those my
and
Tampa Bay
Hopkins.
receivers. They
Hopkins,
are gone.
okay.
DeAndre Hopkins. So I'm a
Okay.
little bit weak of receiver right now. But
This is my problem. I will take Cooper Kupp or Robert Woods, one of the two, and then after this, I'm kind of in no man's land to be honest because I don't want to take a quarterback this high. I don't really. I love Lamar Jackson to be honest this season, but I don't want to have to take him so high. So
Y'all gonna make me.
I would take Cooper Kupp here, and probably looking at. Man, I just don't know. Robert Woods is off the board. So I'm going to take my time, but I'm going to take Cooper Kupp here. I just don't really know who I'm going to take on the second pick. I think Josh Jacobs will still have some value.
No
I
Miles
just don't
Sanders for
know.
you here?
My problem with Miles Sanders, right, is honestly he's got a lot of upside. But to be drafted as my RB2 to be solid, I don't know. There's too many question marks around it. That's my worry. And I think the offense could be great. And I mentioned it, Philadelphia Eagles. I think the entire team is league winning. Any one of these players could win your league. All of them. They all have upside. But they also all come with risk.
who are you getting, sir? Who are you pulling the trigger on?
You know what? I'm just going to take Miles Sanders here. Because, I was running out of time. And two, honestly, I like Julio Jones. But what's the point of taking Julio Jones if Cooper Kupp's my flex and he's never coming out anyway? So Julio Jones sitting on my bench ain't going to do me much good. Obviously, you can focus on trades and things like that, so you never know. But
Problem is, that there's a bunch of guys right here that you just look at that you get. Whether it's Julio Jones, Adam Thielen,
yeah, I like Josh Jacobs, but man, he had such a down year last year. Average
I
under
really
4
should
yards
just
carry.
take Lamar Jackson too. I'm really high on Lamar Jackson. I think that he can have a bounce back season here. His bounce back is MVP. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard for me to even pass, even though I have Patrick Mahomes with Tyreek Hill. I'm not really sure, though.
Third wheel taking Thielen off the board. It's not too bad for the wide receiver too, right?
Yeah, but I'm not going to get Prescott sitting there.
Lamar Jackson just coming off the board.
Let's see if Prescott makes it around.
He might. There's still some good quarterbacks on there.
Yeah, there really is, and I'm thinking I should just go ahead and take one. But
You got Patrick Mahomes.
what I will do
Well, you kind of double down on the QBs there, sir?
is, again, I'm going to go cream hunt. Let's go ahead and get that over with.
Okay.
And then in my flex, I will take. No, you know what? I think I'm gonna just go ahead and take Mark Andrews right now.
That's a good spot.
he got Carter today, and he does have like diabetes or whatever, some shit.
Well,
You know what I mean?
attacks happen sometimes, and things happen, especially with your health when it comes to diabetes. So,
Yeah, I'll just go ahead. And
but
take
I think he'll be healthy and just fine in the season. I like Mark Andrews. That's a great pick in my opinion.
Can I get Dak at 6?
Yeah, I think Dak's going to come to you.
Dak in the 6th round?
Dak in the 6th round. There's value there, but I am starting to get concerned about him. You know what I mean? We already
About
seen
the left
that.
shoulder?
Yeah, we already seen that crazy injury that he took early in last year, so he should be back on that. But psychologically, are you really back from that? Did that injury play a factor in you getting this baseball injury in your shoulder? You know, can you escape the pocket? You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of questions and concerns there for me. But
I think
knowing what he was on pace for last year, you know what I mean, in that offense, it should be, you know, he should just be a stud there.
I just think Dak's a freaking soldier, man.
Well, of course, there's going to be a quarterback run here, and Russell Wilson is not going to fall to me. Kyler Murray coming off the board, and Russell Wilson will probably shortly hereafter be coming off the board. So, to be honest, I'm not too thrilled with Miles Sanders, so maybe I go running back here.
So right now, in my first 6 picks, I got Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, J.K. Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, and Mark Andrews. I'm looking for some flex play, maybe a little bit of bench depth. I'm, of course, not going to take a defense this early in the game. What are these flex plays? You look at Damian Harris. He should be able to run a lot in that system, but Stevenson taking these touchdowns away. You look at like what they've done already with LeGarrette Blount in that kind of system. That kind of scares me for his potential final output in the fantasy season. Damian Harris, Mike Davis. This guy's an RB2. He didn't even have 700 yards last year. You know what I mean?
He played pretty efficiently and effectively in Christian McCaffrey's departure. And to be honest, as your RB, if you're looking for a safe RB2, I think he's going to be on the bottom end of the RB2s, and I think he can get you 10 fantasy points. I really do. So I'm going to take Mike Davis here just in case Miles Sanders, who we know gets injured a lot, and has a lot of concerns with a safer guy to back him up just in case. I'd love to get a wide receiver here. I like Robbie Anderson, but it's a little too early. You know what? I'm going to take quarterback. I'm going to go ahead and get Justin Herbert right here. And I think it's the last of the guys that I really think could absolutely dominate. But Tom Brady's still on the board. He's a great pick. I think Ryan Tannehill later in the rounds. These are definitely guys that are no slouches, to be honest.
Let's not forget the MVP is still there.
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers. Lots and lots of value. So I went ahead and took a quarterback because I didn't like the picks that are left. T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson, Odell Beckham. I like these receivers. I'm not saying that I don't, but I think it's a little too early to be taking these guys for me as bench fills when I think there's some more upside guys later on that I'll take chances on. Myles Gaskin. Damian Harris.
I'm a little bit scared of Myles Gaskin at this point. My pick just went off the board, Odell Beckham Jr. I think he's going to have a really good bounce back season, especially in the touchdown department. You look at them last year, the Cleveland Browns, they just did not have that dynamic threat at the wide receiver position. And seeing how Baker took that turn in the second half of the season, I think that Odell and that connection would have been really great to look forward to this year.
Yeah, the Gaskin concern, I'm very similar right there with you. I mean, the coach comes out talk about a committee at the backfield, essentially.
Yeah.
Hot hand approach or situational football. This is not what you want for an RB2. You know what I mean? So Gaskin's going to be falling. I still think there could be value here for Myles Gaskin. Don't get me wrong, but he's definitely going to be falling in drafts, which is rightfully so.
Yeah, I got a back-to-back right here. I'm not really liking Roby right now. He already has a hamstring problem. And these soft tissue injuries typically linger into the season. So I really don't like what he can do here. I'm going to go ahead and take Javonte Williams. I've been high on this guy since he's been drafted, and even before then. So I'm going to take him first and then go ahead and turn around and take I'm going to take the MVP off the board. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers as my backup quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
As your backup? Yeah, I only have Aaron Rodgers as my backup quarterback.
When you're looking at a list of players sometimes, and there's a lot of guys that you just aren't going to have on your team, it makes sense. Like I said, Robbie Anderson, I like him, but you mentioned the hamstring. Chase Evans, no thank you. Kenny Galladay, no thank you. Chase Claypool got helped off the field with an ankle injury. Luckily, it was supposedly a minor sprain, but, you know, I think it would take an injury to Deontay Johnson to really boost Claypool's value, and I think he's very talented at the wide receiver position, but
I'm taking a chance here. But I actually really like this guy. And so we'll see if he can stay healthy, stay on the field.
Okay, Deebo Samuel. It's not a bad pick. I like Deebo Samuel. A lot of people don't like him, but I do like him. I think him and Brandon Ayuk could very well finish with similar fantasy numbers based on a points per game basis. I really do think so. Antonio Brown came off really early, which is fine. You know, people put out videos and say Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, guess what? You do a mock draft that day and he's boosted 20 spots. So I'm okay with that. Antonio Brown's, you know.
Well, Hall of Famer is what he's
Oh, yeah.
being, but.
Oh, is he a Hall of Famer? We just had a conversation that he wasn't a Hall of Famer.
He's also, hey, you know what he's good at? Throwing haymakers. That's for sure.
Haymaker. Punching people in the face.
Ask the Cardinals defender, man.
I'm looking at a lot right now.
Who's this?
I'm looking at Kenny Galladay and wondering what exactly could be his final output. You know what I mean? I'm really worried. You know, Daniel Jones has never produced really a top-end receiver. And for me to think that he ever will is like, you know, a stretch, right? But obviously somebody has to have that opportunity there. Somebody has to have the value. He may be a guy I'm looking to take to put on my bench. I got arguably two of the best wide receivers in football right now, so I'm not really worried about that position, but I do need a little bit of depth there. Roby would have been a guy that I really would have loved, but those hamstring injuries, that'll kill you, man.
Yeah. Logan Thomas came off the board just before my pick. That sucks because I would love Logan Thomas here. I'm going to take another backup running back just because I got a question mark on my RB2, so I might as well load up on a couple guys. Damian Harris averaged 5 yards carry last season, so I'll take a chance with him. Patriots looking to get back into it. So after that, I like Cortland Sutton, but I don't know. Went ahead and took Dallas Goedert here. Auto pick. That's fine in the 9th round. I like him a little bit later, but I think, like I mentioned with a lot of these Philadelphia Eagles, they have upside to be league winning. All these guys could potentially be top 5, top 10 players. I think Goddard could be a top 5 tight end if he's on the field and healthy the whole season. Who knows what the situation is going to happen with Zach Ertz? They said he came into camp looking ridiculous. So I don't know here, but I do like Dallas Goedert. He's looked decent in the preseason. We'll see how it goes. I'll take him as long as it's late enough. I think he does have upside. He's a talented player.
Yeah.
And I didn't need a tight end, so I'm fine with that.
Now we get into these bench guys, and it's like,
Yes.
there's a lot of them that
Well,
I'm really loving right now. But
And then here's guys that are taking risks. I mean, right there, Myles Gaskin just goes off in the 9th round. His ADP's 55.
Yeah, of course,
Like,
and
you know what I mean?
and it's falling
That's
because
where you get those guys. He was on my to pick up right there.
yeah, I mean you might as well. That's the thing. There's certain guys that you know what, yeah, maybe they're being drafted too high where they are. Doesn't mean they don't have full value and potential.
Yeah, right now I'm grabbing James Robinson, ADP, in pretty much 7th round. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean Travis Etienne's going so much higher, and don't get me wrong, I think Etienne's going to have value. He is. Period. They didn't draft him in the 1st round for nothing.
Oh, absolutely.
But after rewatching some of James Robinson's tape last year, he played pretty well.
He did play really well.
Brandon Cooks just went off the board. What do you think about Brandon Cooks on the season?
Brandon Cooks is a perennial 900 to 1,000 yard receiver. I think in Houston, there's going to be fantasy numbers because they still have the worst defense in the league.
He's just old.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. He always produces. They're going to have the worst defense in the league. They're going to have probably the worst team in the league. You know, so I think Brandon Cooks could still finish the season like he did last year, right in that middle of the pack, 15. He could finish in the 15 to 20 at wide receivers with 900 to 1,000 yards, 5-6 touchdowns.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of value there. I think whoever's at quarterback, he's the kind of guy with his speed and, you know, able to draw a different kind of separation, you know what I mean? So that's going to be an easy target no matter who's going to be there, and I think he's going to have a ton of value that a lot of people, fantasy owners, are not even going to register to even see.
Yeah, of course.
So a guy like that going in the 11th round, you know what I mean? That's a steal for my bye week filler.
Yep. DJ Chark, third wheels must-have player, 2022, 2021. I'm sorry.
Well, DJ Chark played like dude.
Did.
We've done probably 5-10 mock drafts together. You've had him every single time. Melvin Gordon just come off the board.
I think it's his last name. You just like the last name Chark, don't you?
That's right.
You just like the Jacksonville Jaguars to be
It's
my
like thinking about him out in the ocean eating people. That's all.
My pick's coming up. I do need some wide receivers. I only have 3 on my team, and I have 4 running backs with Mike Davis and Damien Harris rounding out my bench. So Jalen Hurts coming off the board this late, not too shabby. Laviska Shenault coming off, that kind of hurts because I'm looking at him right now.
The real wide receiver in Jacksonville, in my opinion.
I think Marvin Jones is also going to have some love, man. A solid veteran receiver that's kind of starting to build that rapport a little bit, considering DJ Chark has been out with the finger. So Leonard Fournette coming off the board. Michael Gallup could have a lot of value here. You know, nobody talks about him, but it's one of these situations where they could have 3,000-yard receivers.
James Conner is also coming up on this board. And, you know, I've been really high on James Conner, but I have been seeing, like, footage of James Conner. And I went back to look last year, like, why did they even stop running him? You know what I'm saying? And I'm noticing he looks really stiff. You know what I mean? And I'm wondering, is that the reason why they even stopped running him in Pittsburgh? I don't think it's even the health concern, you know what I mean? But, you know, his problems and his overcoming of cancer and everything like that. You know, I don't think that's that. I think he looks really stiff, and I'm not really sure where they're going to be. And, you know, you think about Kyler Murray at a fantasy output, this kid could be just running all over the field because we know that Chase Edmonds ain't really that great of a running back anyway. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You look at, you know, his pass attempts may be up and his rush attempts may be up this season. Kyler Murray may be the MVP this year.
Yeah. I can totally see that.
Michael Thomas in the 11th round. Who would have seen that one come in like
so
a year ago? You know what I mean? Like last year, where was he drafted?
Yeah, of course. So he's going to miss. He probably, honestly, is going to miss the first 6 weeks of the season, possibly the first half of the season. But you're still talking about getting a top 5 receiver for half a season.
So talented.
And in the 10th round,
yep,
where I'm already stacked with a lot of running backs and receivers, I have my 3 starters no matter what. I'll take Michael Thomas and hopefully be able to sit on him long enough. And Deontay Smith obviously has the upside.
Team defense. I don't care what nobody says.
Speaking of defense, Baltimore and Tampa is still there. I think I'm going to go Tampa right now.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I mean, honestly, anything after the 11th round, 10th, 11th round, I mean, really, you look at the players overall, I don't want any of these guys.
I'm going New England defense. They added a lot of guys. And we know what Belichick does with the defenses, so you go ahead and do it.
Tampa defense off the board. You took him. Noah Fant. Backup tight end. Makes sense.
Just no holes on this team going into week 1. That's ideal, but, you know, are you ever really going to draft a backup tight end? Probably not.
I mean, to be honest, if you don't get a top 2 to 3 to 4 tight end.
I'm looking at my team right now. I got Javonte Williams, Cortland Sutton, and Noah Fant. I should have just passed on Aaron Rodgers and took somebody else and took Drew Lock.
This is about the time that I start drafting like good backups. Like I just hope, like you have the starter. I'm drafting a guy like I hope your guy like messes up. I don't wish injury on anybody, but kind of.
Oh, I wish injury on a lot of players all the time, every week.
No, I never wish like really severe harm, but you know if you had the case of the running bears, you weren't able to play anymore.
Most of the time when I'm very angry, I just wish somebody steps in shit.
Like on the field too. It's like slipping it.
Slipping shit.
No, I want you to do that in your own yard, barefoot.
That's horrible.
A barefoot shit step. That's terrible. Curtis Samuel's still there for value, but I don't know what that offense is going to put in the aerial department. I really don't. I'm not really liking the line of the football team at all.
And he hasn't practiced all
by
offseason.
the football team, I mean the Washington football team.
Yeah. He hasn't practiced all offseason too, so there's a lot of question marks with that. And then
Well, darn, I missed a pick.
they also got, Diami Brown? See, of course, I'm going to take Baltimore defense off the board and they get drafted. All right. So now I have no clue who I'm going to take, to be honest, this late. I'm going to go ahead here and just take Corey Davis because I think somebody's got to produce in the Jets, wide receivers. Don't get me wrong, Elijah Moore's talented, and they said he's doing all these great things, and I believe it. I'm not saying anything about it, but
You haven't heard? Elijah Moore is Jesus Christ right now.
Yeah, I know. That's what I've heard.
In the region of New York, in the tri-state area, Elijah Moore is the truth. You know, and he very well can be. He can separate at elite level. We'll just see what Zach Wilson can do with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that Zach Wilson, I said this in the offseason. Coming into the draft, I felt like Trey Lance and Zach Wilson were probably the best quarterbacks outside of Justin Fields coming out in this draft. But I did say I think it would take Trey and Zach Wilson a little bit longer to adapt. You know what I mean? Coming from North Dakota State and BYU, you know, not an Ohio State football team or Clemson.
Yeah.
I got 2 picks here, and I think I'm just about done. I mean, what else do I need?
Yeah, I need a kicker and my last player off the board. To be honest, I don't have a quarterback. Maybe I take quarterback here. But there ain't many quarterbacks left. I mean, Kirk Cousins pretty safe, I guess.
Should I just take...
same bye week as Herbert, so that's not going to fly. Lawrence, same bye week.
Should I just take Nyheim Hines and just hope Jonathan Taylor just steps in shit?
Yeah. Nyheim Hines has a lot of value last year.
I was talking about grabbing a backup to a guy. And like, that's what I'm talking about.
This is the
I was
problem.
literally looking at Nyheim Hines. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, no, I have no problem with Nyheim Hines. This is my problem. He tends to produce in games that you'd never expect, and 95% of leagues are not going to have him in their roster or in their starting lineup because,
True.
like, you never know.
Right.
1 week he's going to come out in 30. Then you start him and he's going to come out in 2 points. That's Nyheim Hines for you. So, you know, he's that waiver wire guy that he always ends up on teams, and it's like you start him and he does nothing. You sit him on your bench and he gets 30, and you're just pissed off. You know what I mean? It's terrible.
Marvin Jones Jr. Jacksonville. I kind of want it, but it's a rookie quarterback.
I need a kicker and 1 bench spot.
You know, I'm thinking of a guy last year who was outstanding in the system. You talk about Zach Wilson. Again, James Crowder was absolutely outstanding in the slot. I'll probably take him just for depth. And, you know, I need a kicker. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and wait. So,
Right.
another guy, probably the number 1 target coming from the Oakland Raiders. Over there with the number 1 strength of schedule for the quarterbacks with Cam Newton and Mac Jones or whoever it is, or whoever it may be, I'm going to take Nelson Aguilar off this board. There's a little bit of value there, I think.
Yeah.
I think any pass catcher there, one of those guys is going to be the guy, and I think Nelson Aguilar could possibly be that guy too.
Yeah. Well, that's my problem. That's what I see the Indianapolis Colts. Very similar situation. It's like one of those guys is going to stand out. Is it going to be Michael Pittman? Is T.Y. going to continue to produce?
Probably not.
You know what I mean? I'm just saying. I mean, he still produced in some weeks last year.
Yeah, he did.
So it's like, is he going to be able to still see viable volume here? Michael Pittman, is he going to actually break out and step up and solidify himself? Can Paris Campbell come back from injury and actually show why he was drafted as high as he was, and be that playmaker?
He's looking decent right now. I've seen a little bit of footage of him from the training camp. But, you know, not knowing who the quarterback is going to be is just another setback for me.
Yeah. I like Michael Pittman personally. I think for me to get him in the 14th, 15th round as a dart throw kind of guy that I really think is a sleeper that could break out, could have a 1,000-yard season in that offense. Somebody's going to do it. It could be him. I'll take my chances with that at this point. And I got the back-to-back, so then I'll take my kicker. Marvin Jones Jr. coming off the board. It's not a bad pick. I think it's shown in the preseason that he's kind of built that rapport a little bit.
Dartboard, but it's a decent receiver.
As we're entering the last round, which is pretty much fucking dead man's round,
Right.
You know, looking into the fantasy season, what teams are you looking to stack the most on? Who do you see as like being just viable value picks? I mean, of course, we got our top 12s and everything like that. We got the videos for that.
Yeah.
But, you know, guys like in the ADPs where there's certain players that you just wouldn't take over these guys. You know what I'm saying? That you just see as with value. What are teams?
Well, I'll tell you right now, my biggest team that I think could be league winning with upside is the Philadelphia Eagles. To be honest, there's just a lot of playmakers on this team
Yes.
that we don't really know what's going to happen. Jalen Hurts, how good could he be in this offense? On top of that, Dallas Goedert. They said Zach Ertz came in looking like his best training camp he's had in his career.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith, he's back, and he's he played in the preseason. He's
getting
going to be on the
acclimated.
field.
Yeah.
Jalen Rager made that unbelievable catch on Twitter. We saw that. And then Quez Watkins came out of nowhere. No one really talked about him. He's speedster. So I think there's a lot of players in Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
We know the talent's there. How many
Kenny Gainwell,
carries is
all
he going
these
to have? That's what I'm
guys, you know
saying.
what I mean?
It's like,
It's
how
like
many
they-
carries is he going to have? How many-
They got offense that is just absolutely explosive.
Yeah, so there's a lot of question marks, don't get me wrong, around the Eagles. But I think that if I had to pick a team that was going to be like high risk, high reward, period, it would be the Eagles.
Yeah.
I think all those players potentially could finish as top 5, top 10 players at each position. Now, receivers, obviously, I think Devontae Smith could have 100 targets. I mean, it's going to be hard for one of those receivers to emerge as like a top 5 option, but I do think Devontae Smith could see enough volume, 100-plus targets, to be a viable wide receiver, too, that I got in the 10th round, so.
Yeah, for me, that team is the Seattle Seahawks. Of course, you got Russell Wilson, D'Andre Russ. He does what he does. I think we're going to see a lot more pass attempts this year, like we seen last year, but a more perfected version of that. You know what I mean? You look at Chris Carson, perennial. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the guy right there. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get his carries. He's going to do what he do. And what's attractive about him, he's getting more receptions. So, like I said, that's more pass attempts for Russell Wilson. I like DK Metcalf and his possibility of breaking out in his third year. Not to mention he's already broken out. I'm talking about top 5 kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Who could possibly be the number 1? And then you got Diddy over there. You know what I'm saying? Diddy Kong over there where, Tyler Lockett has just been sneakily good over the last couple of seasons. And, even thinking of last year where they had the most pass attempts, when they were a whole full running football team, he was still very viable in that offense. You know what I mean? And they had this guy Eskridge and so forth. You know what I mean? With Gerald Everett. I really like the value there where they're being taken at. They're not really being taken, top 5 in their position. So these guys are steals to me.
Yeah, with Tyler Lockett, a lot of people are biased, but I'll tell you right now, last season, yes, 50% of his production came in 3 games. You look at the season before that, he had a touchdown in like 8 different games. You know what I mean? 9 touchdowns, and he still had that production was spread out at least a little bit.
Oh, somebody took him 15th round, McCole Hardman.
Okay.
I had him highlighted.
That guy's name is Dew.
But I'm just saying, 15th round, last
Dew
round.
took him. It was
Last
Dew.
round,
Dew.
I blame Dew.
last round, McCole Hardman. That's not a bad, just grab a guy and hope.
Yeah, of course. McCole Hardman made an outstanding catch week 2 of the preseason for a touchdown. It was pretty crazy. Shoestring catch in the back of the end zone. And he was targeted like 8 times. Even with Patrick Mahomes, he was targeted. I think he had finished the game with 8 or 9 targets.
Yeah.
That's
good. He's hungry. He's been saying that he wants that volume. So we'll see if they give it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And of course, the Raiders fan takes Henry Ruggs. That's great. I'm going to take my kicker off the board. It's either
15th
going to
round.
be Matt Gay or probably Blankenship.
Thing is, somehow I missed one of my
I'll just
picks,
take
so it
Blankenship.
auto-drafted me a
That's
kicker.
what it
So
is.
Yeah,
I
you're
don't have to
good.
worry about a kicker.
So standings, obviously, King Will's projected the most fantasy points. I'm in the 6th spot as projected fantasy points.
Boo.
Third
You
wheels
was
in
the
the
number 1 pick, wasn't you?
Yeah, I was. Third wheels in the 8th spot. I took
Well,
Michael
yeah,
Thomas.
but I also only have one quarterback.
So do I, and I took Michael Thomas.
That means your team sucks.
I know.
Got to have 2 quarterbacks.
What?
Well, you can't play every game.
That's all right. For the
I
number
only
1
need
pick.
a one game. What are you talking about?
For the number 1 pick, Justin Herbert at the starting quarterback position. Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Cooper Kupp in my flex. Christian
Nice.
McCaffrey, Miles Sanders, my RB2. Dallas Goedert at the tight end position. On the bench, Mike Davis, Damian Harris. A couple receivers to back them up, hopefully. Devontae Smith, Michael Thomas, Corey Davis, Michael Pittman, all wide receivers. Ryan Suckup, Cleveland defense.
Yeah, that's a pretty balanced team, though.
Third
good.
wheels team. Dak Prescott, DeAndre Hopkins, Adam Thielen. Once again, 3 running backs. Nick Chubb, Darrell Henderson, Raheem Mostert in his flex. Kittle at the tight end position, that's great. Deebo Samuel is a backup wide receiver, no problem there. James Robinson holds his own value. DJ Chark, Naeem Hines, Marvin Jones, Henry Ruggs. Greg Zuerlein, New England defense. Obviously, we'll go to King Will. He had the most fantasy points projected.
The Lord.
That's all right. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, number 1 stack. Calvin Ridley, J.K. Dobbins, Kareem Hunt, Javonte Williams in his flex. Mark Andrews at the tight end position. On the bench, you got Aaron Rodgers to back him up. Cortland Sutton, Robbie Anderson, Nelson Aguilar, Jamison Crowder, and Noah Fant with Blankenship, Tampa Bay defense.
Barbecue chicken. And just like that, that's how you draft a 10-man redraft for the first round downs. As always, it's been G.O.D., B. Scott, and the third wheel. Until next week,